No.
So, welcome to another episode of Zero Interest. Full disclosure,
Oh.
I just went to the bathroom between recording episodes and came back to this. So
What?
I just thought I'd open hard
Okay.
on this.
Oh, hi.
Is
Sorry. I was just relaxing.
evidently, is that your sleep cap? That's how you were
No,
wearing it.
no, no. It's nice and tight around the noggin.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
I'm disguising the fact that I wear the same clothes. Shh.
bringing that joke back, huh? Okay. So this episode we're doing RWBY again. We're doing RWBY episodes nope, too early. 11 and 12? 11 and 12.
Yeah, 9 and 10 was last week.
Yeah. 11 and 12.
Uh,
We're doing Jaunedice.
And jaundice is a disease that has yellow discoloration of both the skin and the eyes.
Oh, that was...
Yeah, sometimes it can be greenish, and it makes your urine dark.
Oh.
The more you know.
By the way, this is Mountain Dew. I feel like I need to clarify that all of a sudden.
All right, so we
Just throwing
open.
that out there.
So we open to good old Jean-Claude Van Fail fighting against
Clever.
fighting against Butch Cassidy and on a stage. And yeah, it's just this other guy, Carden, I think is his name.
Carden Winchester.
Yeah, and I know you're going to probably have me guess which character is he based off of.
You're not going to get it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay, because I don't know.
This one was actually based off a real person, and he only exists because of Jaun's character. That's literally it. Jaun was based
Oh,
on Joan of Arc.
oh, okay.
I'm not... I intended to look this up before we started recording, but I forgot about it. It was either the Cardinal of Winchester or Cardinal something Winchester was the one responsible for Joan of Arc being put to the pyre.
Hmm.
Yeah.
More you know. So we have them fighting, and Jean freaking loses because he is a scrub.
He is a
He is a
scrub.
scrub.
He is absolutely a scrub.
And then they're like, hey, you should check your aura next time, loser. And
Not necessarily check it, but,
yeah,
get a feel
yeah,
for it and know when you're running out. Like,
yeah,
I
and
find it unlikely that they would be expected to look at their scroll in the middle of a fight.
yeah,
So it's
and it's like we won't watch you get hurt. And then Carden's like, well, I would. I don't care. And I'm like, wow, Carden, you're just a jerk because you're a jerk. You're a jerky jerk. You're Butch Cassidy.
pretty much, he is not exactly the deepest, most complex character.
Oh, yeah. He's like... I keep saying Butch Cassidy, and that's like an old American train robber, but I mean just he's a butch, he's a like I also
I
he's
feel
the
like the only character direction or character description that the writers gave him was bully, and that was all they
yeah,
did. Just
literally that's about it. Oh, the butch that I keep saying butch, but I'm pretty sure the butch that I mean is just the general bully term. I'm pretty sure there's a butch in a Fallout game.
there is.
Yeah, I think it's that guy I'm referencing.
Butch. I don't think was
I don't know.
that the
I
guy from the he was from the Tunnel Snakes, but I don't
yeah
think he was the main Tunnel Snake guy.
yeah. Um, if it makes it work better, he's Biff Tannen basically, from Back to the Future.
Yeah, he is a very, very flat one-dimensional character, and I feel like they missed the trick. But we'll get to that later in. Actually, probably in the next episode of this.
Okay, so we get the combat tournament announced after that live demonstration failure, and the whole RWBY team is pumped. Like, yeah, boy, combat tournament arc.
It's only going to be like 3 years before it happens.
Oh.
It happens in season 3, but they announce it in season 1, and then season 2 has nothing to do with it. And then Monty passed away, so they took a year off.
Oh, multipass. So, they go to lunch, and, Nora's being the very flat but very fun Nora, who is telling stories about her dreams that she has.
There we were, in the middle of the night.
It was day.
We were surrounded by Earth's
They were beowulfs.
Dozens of them!
2 of them.
And everybody's like, yeah. But then Pierre and Ruby are looking sadly at Jean, and Jean's looking sadly off to the side.
Another point of order. Nora is describing her dream, but Ren is correcting her at every point. We don't know it's a dream until the end of it, where he says it's a dream, but apparently he knows it well enough that he can correct her exaggerations of her dream.
She never shuts up.
It's a little weird.
She never shuts up.
No.
I'm guessing he's heard that story about 10 times.
Probably.
Since they woke up that morning.
And he decided to take the first version as truth, I guess.
Yeah, because normally that's how dreams work, is you remember it the best when you first wake up.
Probably, yeah, that's true.
Let's see. And we get the revelation that, hey, Jean is being bullied.
Oh no.
Shocker. And he's being bullied by this Cardin Winchester guy.
And in fairness, the bullying is kind of hilarious.
Okay, we have these rocket lockers. You just put your stuff in there, and then you can hit the destination and send it wherever you want.
What? No, wait, please, don't. No, come on!
And he gets put into a rocket locker and sent flying. And the part of me that is not caring about how much sense this makes loves this, but the other part of me is like, how does he get away with this? Literally, how do you get away with that?
Well,
that's like blatant.
It's a university, and students are expected to look after them for themselves at that age.
I know, but he sent somebody else's rocket away with them inside it. That's more than just like stealing somebody's shoes from So.
Also, the opening the shield exactly at the right time to get him trapped in the doorway was pretty funny.
Come on!
Yeah, that one's actually pretty.
Also shows he apparently knows Jean's weapon really fucking well to know exactly how to do that.
I mean, it's not like his weapon has any surprises. It's pretty basic. It has one trick.
Yeah.
Boy. Coughing. Nora's like, we'll break his legs! I feel like she always has the smiley face emoticon on at all times.
Always.
After everything she says. And then we get a cut to him pulling on this British bunny girl's ears.
Australian.
Like, no!
Yeah.
Australian. Either way, don't bully her!
Ow, that hurts! Please stop.
She's a bunny girl with a funny accent. It's good. No. Don't bully her. If I was there, I'd go and I'd punch the guy and say, no. Don't bully bunny girls with accents.
Another point of order. Just to point out what sort of culture the Faunus are in, everyone's talking about how terrible it is and no one's actually fucking doing anything.
Makes me mad.
Even the people that are like, oh, this is terrible, are like, I'm still going to let it happen, though.
I know, and it made me mad. don't bully bunny girl with accent. If she didn't have the accent, maybe I'd be less inclined to stop it, but she does. And she said, no! In that accent.
Please
and I was like,
stop.
no. You're hurting me. And I'm like, I have to save her right now. Don't bully bunny girl with accent.
I won't try and get you to guess the bunny girl. She is a character, but you know nothing about her at this point, so I'm just going to let it slide for now. We'll get
What,
back.
is she like the rabbit and the tortoise?
Nope.
Oh.
There aren't many rabbit characters, but
Is she the white rabbit?
no. Well, she's brown for one thing. Just
I know, but her skin color is white. That was a stretch.
a little bit.
So this is the introduction of faunas. They're apparently animal people, and
Basically.
boy, the ones with accents are cute. I would protect them. You gotta protect them. If they don't have an accent, it's up to your own discretion. But it must be a law to protect the ones with accents.
Okay. Because this bit is actually kind of complicated and goes into the backstory of the setting, I'm going to help out and explain the next bit, which is whether in Oobleck's class, which is the guy that's running around, and he's voiced by Joel Heyman, who was Caboose in Red vs. Blue.
How much coffee is he drinking, I swear?
Coffee. Sure.
How many... What drugs are he taking? This guy's like... He's just like... Just flash stepping all around. It's ridiculous.
You'll come back to those questions at the end of Season 2.
Wow, that's ominous.
So his class is basically about history, and they're talking about the Faunus Uprising.
Yeah.
That basically got retconned out of the story, more or less.
What?
So they talk about the Faunus Uprising here, which is like all the Faunus were like, no, we're not okay with being treated like shit all the time, and given the worst jobs, and
It's also called the Faunus Rights Revolution.
yeah, that it's odd how they've decided to frame that given recent events. Like they do what's called World of Remnant episodes, and they did one recently on the Faunus specifically. And while there was a period where the Faunus were treated like shit, it apparently had nothing to do with the Faunus Rights Revolution that they got treated better. It was because there was a war and they helped fight in that war. Apparently. It's a little odd.
I mean, like, the idea of the Faunus Rights Revolution, and there was a war, and people died, and that's why there's racism towards them, puts things into context.
Yeah, but
if that
it wasn't a war between the humans and the Faunus. It was a war between, I want to say Mistral and Mantle, and Vale and Vacuo were the two sides. And the Faunus joined in and helped, and it was, oh yay, and we're going to give you a continent to do whatever you want with it, is the most recent establishment of events. But in this episode, it's more like they were trying to force all the Faunus to go to Menagerie, but the Faunus were like, no, we're not okay with that, and that's how the Faunus Rights Revolution started. So it's a bit of a contradiction in how events played out.
Because I do like this plot point. It does put
It's
things
pretty
into
solid.
perspective.
They've just changed the context of it a little bit, and it bugs me.
Yeah, I can see how. Guys, like, hey, has any of you Faunus been discriminated? And then my little Australian British bunny girl, whatever, raises her hand, and he's like, well, that's great. Moving on.
Well, technically he says, terrible, just terrible, or something like that.
But that's it. And I'm just, in my notes in all caps, I wrote, protect her.
Okay. Zero has a waifu.
I have somebody I must protect. That makes me a hero, right? They mention Vice is like, oh, hey, there was a turning point at the Battle of Fort Castle. And it's like, yay, you're smart, Vice. And so Cardin, Biff Tannen,
Being a butt.
yeah, Biff right here is, you know, doing the paper football thing. And on his, he's leaning so far back in his chair, he's like, he's got his feet up. And he just, it's like, I'm just going to shoot this paper football at Sean's head. Because. And now Sean's like, hey! And then, you know, that means, then the teacher comes like, hey, do you have an answer as to the question? And you see in the distance, his team's trying to help him out, with Piers trying to hand signal.
The advantage the Faunus had over that guy's stuff.
Binoculars.
It's like, what advantage did they have in the war? And he's like, binoculars. It's like, now it's night vision. And, you know, that's what we find out after he asks Cardin, who also fails that question. And then Pierre's like, it was night vision, you dumb. And Cardin's like, oh, man, I'm so butthurt right now. I was publicly humiliated. Boy, I'm going to get revenge for that later, probably. Because that's how bullies work. So, let's see. Pierre brings him out for a talk.
On the rooftops.
And he's like, well, I'm not that depressed. It's like, it's just to see everything. It's like, no. We need to train you, you know?
Because you're kind of shit, and, you know...
You know, and
don't want you
and you were able to get in here. You have the potential. You only accept the best of the best. You got in here, though, so that means you're really good, and you have a lot of potential, and we can just work with that, and we can help you. And he's just like, first of all, do I really need to be helped? And he goes into a big, very nice character moment. I felt I actually really liked this, where it's just like, I don't want to be the person who has to be helped out of a tree all the time. I came here because I wanted to be the hero. I want to be able to the one that helps others. Also, I cheated and lied to get in here.
Yeah.
My transcripts were faked. And I don't even deserve to be here. But I don't want to be, you know, treated like I'm just lesser, even though I have nowhere near as much training as all these other people. But he wanted to be the hero, just like his family.
He has a lot of pride for someone who is actually kind of shit.
Yeah, but he comes from a family of apparently heroes and really strong people. And so he has that sort of, I have expectations to live up to, and I can't just be helped all the time, because that's literally all that happened in the last little arc, was he was just garbage and had to get helped consistently.
John,
I'm tired of being the lovable idiot stuck in the tree while his friends fight for their lives. Don't you understand? If I can't do this on my own, then what good am I?
And he kept getting into trouble. And we see how it actually did affect his character. And that's something that you don't get a lot of somewhat comic relief characters to really admit.
Yeah.
When the funny stuff that's kind of embarrassing and it shows that they're garbage does affect them.
Yeah, it is the butt monkey moment is what I'd probably call it. Funnily enough, the trope name for the butt monkey is actually from a similar moment from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where the character of Xander, who was the comic relief kind of shit one, was sick of being the universe's butt monkey, and he didn't want to be the one that got the funny syphilis.
Yeah.
It makes sense in context. It's that sort of moment, and it's always a good moment when it happens. When the clown suddenly reveals that, yes, still getting a raw deal if you're actually not paying attention to the funny bits.
Yeah. And I do empathize with him, because I've always been the funny guy in my life in particular. And I've gotten into some bad situations in which I just kind of tend to laugh it off, but it really does actually affect you when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
So
doesn't really make him less of a shit for slapping away someone trying to help him, but
he's being a prideful a-hole, but he's
it's
a
good
if he didn't,
real character moment.
Yeah, it's a good real character moment, and it allows for growth. And that's something that I'd rather have rather than him being like, all right, I need help. Help me out. It's you have to. He would have to swallow his pride first, and there's that element to it.
Yeah.
Then Cardin shows up and climbs up onto the rooftop after Pyrrha leaves in a huff because Jean doesn't want her to help him, and Cardin's like, oh hey, what's up? I heard what you were saying from my dorm room. We're gonna be friends, right? Right.
Of course. We're friends now, Johnny boy. And the way I see it, as long as you're there for me when I need you, we'll be friends for a long time.
And I'm like, how did you climb onto the roof? Where did you come from?
You do remember the part where he was launched off of a cliff into a forest, right? They're pretty athletic.
Yeah. He was really just sitting in his dorm room and was like, oh, sick. I gotta climb up out of here.
Well, it's still like, what? The second week in term, so it's like September. It's not even that cold yet. Probably had the window open. Just happened to hear someone yelling on the roof about
my
how
notes just say like, my notes just say, WTF Cardin, his dorm room was right there.
Yeah, apparently.
And he's like, yeah, so you're gonna be my lackey right now, and you're gonna do work and help me out, because that's what friends are for, right? And that's how Jaunedice ends.
And because I mentioned it earlier in the episode, and I actually should probably get it out while we're still talking about it, and while it's kind of relevant, this is the point where I feel like they missed a trick with Cardin. Because while, yes, Jean is a character that could theoretically get better and stop being so shit at just about every single part of being a huntsman, he still faked his way into an academy where they are expected to fight monsters on a fairly regular basis, and he has been put in charge of a team where he is responsible for other people's lives on a fairly regular basis, but he's shit at everything. And he faked his way to get in. So he doesn't deserve to be in. He has none of the skills required to do what he's doing. I feel like they could have done more with Cardin by having him be very much of the belief of that, because Cardin, much as he's a shit, he has done all of those things.
Yeah.
He has worked his way into Beacon the right way, and has the skills to be there. So they could have had him be bullying Jean, yes, but to get him to quit.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on that. Because it follows the very standard bully trope.
Yep.
Without taking into account the context of what exactly is going on here.
It's treating it like it's just a regular school issue.
It's like you don't actually belong here. So, hey, earn your keep by being with me, an actual competent person, right? Just do what I want. You'll get better. You can take it in a lot of different angles based on this knowledge, but nah, they settled for the I would guess you could say easier path.
They just went the after school special route.
Because it's what's already done, so you don't even have to put that much effort into writing it. So it is a bit disappointing.
Yeah, they could have done more with it. They even had the time to do more with it. They spend a lot of time establishing, Jean's being a shit and distant from his team because he's being bullied by Cardin, and oh no, what a terrible circumstance, what are we to do? They do a lot of that, more than enough of that, frankly, where they could have developed this instead, and had Cardin's side of it, but they just didn't. They wanted him to be one-dimensional so that they could use him and throw him away instead. It's not a fan. Would have even played into the basis of the characters as well, because, you know, I still don't know whether it was Cardinal of Winchester or Cardinal Winchester or something, but the idea of him trying to get rid of a fake as he saw it in Joan of Arc, it would have played into the comparison.
And it would also have allowed for Cardin to grow if he were to accept Jean as, like, just character-wise, aside from just the history of it all and everything. But if Cardin were to eventually see, you know, that Jean could be able to prove his way to be there, then it wouldn't be just, oh, well, I can't bully that guy anymore. It would be like, you know, I'm actually going to approve of that guy. And and then you could have him, I don't know, you could have a character arc for him.
Yeah.
You could have something more than just nothing.
Yeah, they could have done. They decided not to. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, so that's it for, Jaunedice. And we'll be back next week with Forever Fall, parts 1 and 2.
Yay, episodes 13 and 14. Yeah, where the bully arc continues and concludes, thankfully. Not a fan of this arc, have you noticed?
Yeah, I've noticed. Like, I've gotten some good character moments from Jean, and I've gotten the best bunny girl, but it's not, like, it's not that it's awful, it's just that it could have been a lot better. And that's what's upsetting.
Yeah,
all right.
So, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with the next episode, Forever Fall. Bye then.
Bye.